Okay, and then first thing before we go ahead and get started, I just wanted to let you know in advance that I currently have a cold, so if my voice sounds a little bit raspy, or if I have to pause to blow my nose or cough or something like that, then that's what I will be doing if I go silent.
Okay.
But hopefully we can get you the same level of quality coaching here.
Alright. Yeah, this was like mid to high Masters rank game.
All right. Okay, so first off on the Widow, good job. Yep, it's a good pick to go to. All right. First off, like, kind of, what's the, I guess, hesitation to fly to just walk up to the Widow here?
So might be out in the open if I try to Guardian Angel to the Widow.
Oh, if you try to Guardian Angel, you're gonna get caught out?
Yeah.
I typically would say that this isn't like an angle that typically you're gonna get shot at from, right? Like, if we take a look at all the major, let's say, who's the only character that can get you, really? Like Widowmaker, right?
Yeah.
The only angle that can see you crossing this open area is like what, this top peak spawn peak area, or if she's just literally sitting down main. Every other angle is just covered by cover, right? Don't be afraid to just walk out of spawn, especially right if you have a Widow right next to you. Us hesitating to walk out here is what gets us killed, and that's super unfortunate that they had a Sombra, but also you don't always have to assume that there's a Widowmaker around every single corner, right? If we're always playing like that, then we're gonna struggle a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so right about now, the kind of tab should have unlocked, so we're taking a look at the team comps that we're working with, right? Or at least in spawn, we should have taken a look at ours, right? So Genji, got to make sure to pocket him during his blade. Hog, got to make sure to pocket him during his ult. Then with Widowmaker's just gonna be our base pocket target. Hog we can swap to when he lands a hook as well. And then that's pretty much the things to keep an eye out with our team. Enemy team, they're running a Sombra and a Symmetra. So we really do not need to worry at all about our positioning, as long as we're keeping out of range of the tanks, right? No character on their team really has any long range. They only have Sigma and Hog who have mid range. So as long as we're staying kind of outside of that mid range, we can be much more we can get away with a lot much more than we could against a comp that has heavy hit scan or Widowmaker, right? So we're gonna want to use that to our advantage by playing out in the open more, so that can give us line of sight on our teammates a lot more, right? Sometimes when you sacrifice, or like when you're behind cover and you're hiding from snipers, you're sacrificing your ability to keep line of sight on teammates. You're sacrificing your awareness of what's going on around you. So because we know that they don't have anything that can contest us really at all, we want to be taking super aggressive angles to where we can just see pretty much everything on our team at all times. Wow, that's an insanely fast ultimate.
Yeah, that was really fast.
Okay, make sure we're prioritizing the people in the middle of fights, right? We might go into that in a little bit more detail, but we want to make sure that we're, like, if somebody is, back here where Genji's at, and somebody's, on cart, where a majority of our team was in the last fight, the person on cart's going to have a lot more people looking at him, and it's going to be taking a lot more damage than the person back here. So when it comes to priority on who should we heal first, the people in the most danger are always going to be the ones who need healing the most. So make sure that we're prioritizing that. If that becomes a repetitive issue, I'll keep an eye out on that, and I'll call it out in the future.
Okay.
Right? Make sure we're not staring at our pocket target, right? We don't have to stare at somebody to have our beam on them. We don't have to stare at them to know what their health is, because it says underneath our crosshair. And realistically, all we're doing by staring at them is wasting time where we could be looking around us and paying attention to what's happening around us. So this basically, us staring at in the one direction of the person we're pocketing is going to mess with our awareness of what's going on around us because we're missing out on, monkey on our left, anybody who's on this side of the map. We can't see enemies when we're focusing on our Widowmaker, right? So make sure we're not tunnel visioning on the person that we're pocketing.
Okay.
Right, so again, right, same thing. You can go, I believe, on Mercy 3 seconds without looking at somebody to maintain the beam, without having them on your screen, right? We can still keep them in the very corner of our screen, but we will always want to be tilting our camera so that we are, when we're here. Let's see, go back to where we're staring at Widow again, right? We want to tilt our camera so that when we're beaming Widowmaker, she's just on the very corner of our screen here, and we're looking at the fight, right? So we can see everyone on our team who's needs healing, right? This way we can keep track of who to swap beams to. We can keep track of where enemy characters are, right? Knowing that Sombra's on the front line here means that you know that Sombra's not in your back line, right? There's a bunch of things that we need to be aware of as Mercy, and we can get away with this on Mercy a lot better than we can on someone like Ana, because Mercy doesn't require that you look at people yet. We're kind of forcing ourselves into by staring at the Widowmaker, right?
Right.
Okay, make sure that when we see that we're going for a blade, we always want to be pocketing that blade, okay? It keeps him alive and gives him more sustainability. When a Genji is blading, is the enemy team all going to be looking at?
The Genji.
Yeah, so we just cycle through here real quick. Symmetra's not. Briggs can't see him. Okay, so Hogs on Genji. He's in a little room here, so I don't think many people can see him because he's getting whole hogged away. But Genji will be taking the majority of the kind of focus fire whenever he's blading. So us pocketing him keeps him alive, as well as just in case you weren't aware, when you damage boost him while he's in a nano blade, that allows him to one shot slash people. Right? He doesn't need the dash impact, right?
Right.
So us pocketing Genji's going to be insane with or without a nano. So we always want to make sure we're on top of him. And whenever we hear somebody die or see it in the kill feed on our team, we should always be eyeballing the kind of, what do you call that, the death marker, right? That way we can see, can we get away with the res. Here we don't even glance over to see where it's at. We glance after like 5 seconds or so. We got to make sure that we're doing that faster so that we can get away with this res. Okay, Genji dies right up there. Again, be looking for these reses. Right, Hog was in a room. Nobody else was there. Right, that's easy res to go for. Genji, now Hog did run up into it, but I believe there was a bubble there. Right, so we could potentially like fly up and then kind of free fall, down this way, and then we kind of keep the bubble on top of us, which allows us to get away with it. We just want to be looking to land the reses because that's kind of the biggest carrying potential we have as Mercy. Okay, slightly slow on the swap to the damage boost. Make sure that you're paying attention to when Hog's actually hooking people in, right? That way we can damage boost him and allow him to get that one-shot kill if he's otherwise not going to get it, right? This is very helpful in tanks, very helpful in anybody.
Heroes never die. Hello there. This is not the end. Ich kümmere mich dich.
Okay, good job. Good aggressive Valk. I like how the timing that we used for it. Oh, I didn't mean to skip forward 20 seconds, but I like the timing that we had for that Valk. Just, by the way, you said you wanted to go over 3 different characters. Are all 3 of those characters in this one game?
I don't remember if they're in this one game.
Alright.
It's been, yeah.
Right. Well, 314. I guess we can skip ahead. Just remember we're 314. Just we can see, because if you want to go over all three, we might have to cut out of this game since it's 20 minutes long. Okay, still Mercy.
You know?
I think it's all just Mercy.
All right. Then we can. Would you like to like cut through portions of this? Maybe we can go through it like, since we do go. It looks like you guys go through this twice. We could maybe just do the first round or something like that.
Okay, then just go through the defense part, because that's where I was struggling the most.
All right. So do you want to skip straight from here to your first defense?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right.
Damage amplified.
So
One.
point is starting. Taking a look at comps, Soldier is probably going to be a better pocket standard default pocket target than a Widow is. Hog's good for hooks and as ultimate. Soldier, we want to guarantee that we're on top of him when he goes for his ult. Zarya becomes a very good pocket target if she's full energy and we don't have anybody else to go to, right? So that's just all things that are running through our mind when it comes to our team comp. Enemy team comp, okay, we just gotta be aware of, again, or half again, right? They have the Symmetra, so no range on that end. The only character they have range for is the McCree. So we have to be slightly careful of our line of sight, but we can still be slightly more aggressive than if we were up against like a Widowmaker, which is very common on this map.
Alright.
Don't let up on them.
Feeling spry.
Where does it hurt? Damage amplified.
All right, so Soldier gets picked.
Damage amplified.
Symmetra TP's up. How did she do that? That doesn't one shot a 200 HP target. Oh, that was that.
She probably had high energy.
I don't think energy doesn't, like, her beam charge doesn't affect her right click though. That confused me. Did they? I think they might have buffed that a while ago, but I thought that it didn't pass the PTR. Or the experimental card. Okay, so we're on Soldier.
You needed a doctor? Damage boost engaged.
Again, right. So maybe instead of just staring at him, we can use this time to check behind us. See how long do we have before our team gets back. That way we have, a good general idea of, when are we going in. That gives us a little bit more, whenever we have more information, we can make better decisions.
Let me get you patched up.
Probably say one of the big issues that we struggle with is awareness, because we don't really look around us.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, very easy res.
This is not the end. Heilstrahl aktiviert.
Tactical
Okay,
visor.
prioritize the people on point, not the Widowmaker. Okay, yeah, we might have been able to, if we paid attention to her, we would have been able to get her. But in this situation,
This is not the
right,
end.
these guys are getting rolled over here with,
Heilstrahl aktiviert.
and they're the ones who have to contest point. Widowmaker is not in the fight, right? So the people on point take a higher priority than the Widow who's
Tactical
outside of
visor
point.
activated.
If we're attempting to win that.
Yeah.
Mercy in Bereitschaft.
Right, you can try to keep up the Zarya, and then if you see that you have some free time, then you try to come back and get the Widowmaker. Okay, right now team just staggered very, very poorly. We're probably only gonna get one recontest here. Well, again, awareness, make sure we're being very careful about walking out of spawn, right? Even if we think we're safe, that's obviously not the case here, and it's not gonna be the case in every single game we get into. So, gotta be careful about walking out of spawn. Team is now successfully staggered this whole time. We can do nothing about this besides, one, stopping our own staggering, and two, making sure we're communicating with our team. Okay, our team is now almost given up all of point because we have continuously staggered over and over again. Okay, we have staggered twice. Okay, if we could have stopped both of those by maybe dying, if we thought that maybe we couldn't get out on the fight beforehand, right? We should have let them kill us. And then in this fight, right, just watching as we're walking out of spawn so that we're not getting picked off. Those two things helps our team stop staggering, And then on top of that, we can communicate with our team. Hey guys, don't walk out of spawn. Stop staggering. Group up, right? Call out specific people if you need to. Hey, Widowmaker, you're really far forward right now. We're down 3 people. Back up, right? That type of deal. Okay, let's see. Are we gonna be able to recontest this? This is where we're checking behind us. We're trying to go in when we're down 2 people, right? Or 3 people actually, right? Really, it's a 3v6 currently. So, I don't know if we're actually gonna be able to. Oh no, sorry, we have 4 people here. Crane and Otto are on top of each other. Oh come on, what did I do? Yeah.
Don't let up on them.
Okay, so.
They're all over me.
Okay, so far, it's not like we're making many mistakes. But the problem with Mercy is that Mercy is not a very carry-based character. She doesn't have the impact that other characters have. So we want to make sure that we are looking to communicate. Communication is a very big way that we can carry it on Mercy because we have a lot of awareness, right? We should be able to have more awareness than a character like McCree or Widowmaker because, or like, Ana or most other supports because we have the option to look around more because we don't have to mechanically aim, right? So our awareness should be very like kind of higher than average than the regular support on Mercy, but our awareness is slightly lower, and we're also like maybe not communicating well enough with our team to group up, when to go in, when not to go in, and then these types of things just lead to team-wide mistakes that we're also participating in.
That makes sense.
Engage.
All right, so again, they stagger. Then we're like group up, right? We don't have a direct impact on those 2 staggering, right? We have no direct impact on that. So the only thing that can stop that is communication and saying, "Hey guys, you should group up, don't walk out of spawn," or "Hey, Widow and Ana, just let yourselves die. You're gonna stagger yourselves," right? It's just the fact that like you guys have essentially not gotten one single fight in the time that you should have had 3 fights, right? Each kind of payload point is usually 2 fights, 1 and then 2, right? You guys didn't get any fights on second. We're probably not gonna get not gonna get a first fight here. We're just so essentially through our team staggering, right? We have given up 3 fights in total, which is very, very terrible because that's 3 lost fights in a row just because we're not grouping up.
No one can hide from my sight.
It's time.
Heroes never die. Nano administered.
Okay, again, make sure we're not make sure we're not staring at our teammates when we're doing this, right? We're not paying attention to what's going on with the enemy team because we're doing this when you can just as easily look at your like right underneath your crosshair and be looking this way and angling up like this way, right, so that we can see more of point and see what's happening, right? So and you don't have to keep your camera angle like this the entire time. I'm just saying do this once, right? Like flick up, look, go back down, right? You just don't have the awareness because we're not looking around with our head. So the equivalent, like, right, if we're comparing this to real life, is that you walk throughout real life and you never look at your peripheral vision. You never turn your head side to side. You always look straight forward and you always walk straight forward, right? This is going to lead you to getting in, car accidents. You're going to not have a fun time doing anything. So, in the same kind of in-game analogy right here, if we're compare that to in-game, if we're never looking around, we're never using our peripheral vision, then we're going to have a very low awareness. We're not going to know what's going on. And then when we don't know what's going on, we therefore have worse gameplay, right? When you don't have a clue what's happening, you can't make good decisions. When you know what's happening, that gives you information, and that information you can make decisions on information. You can't make decisions on a lack of information.
Alright. Yeah, Yeah, that's something I need to improve on. That's something I need to improve on.
Yeah, I said, yep.
Oh, okay.
Step right up.
Okay, probably look for the res. I'd maybe wrap around this right side and get closer to cover and try to do it from here instead of, out in the open. This maybe doesn't stop Hog from being able to see us, but that stops anybody else from being able to see us, which there actually is nobody else, but just puts you a little bit of more of cover, right?
This is not the end.
Thank you, Angela.
I need healing. This will help.
I'm on.
Let me get you patched up. Just what I needed. Damage increase.
Yeah, right now we want to be retaken high. Alright, so I was watching to see if this happened. So let's go back to here.
Step right.
Okay, at the point that we go to res this Ana. Oh, come on. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, I keep pressing those buttons. No, the point that we're doing this, who's won this fight?
The red team?
Yep. We pretty much we have close spawns. It's a 4v2, almost 3, but then at the same time we also are about to kill Hog. He's pretty much 1 HP. So, us resing Ana puts us on a cooldown, which fights typically have a 20-second-ish cooldown between each fight. So what ends up happening here is we go for the res in a fight that we've already won. We win the fight, no duh, right? And then 20 seconds later, Widowmaker pushes forwards and Widowmaker dies, right? So would this not have been maybe a better situation that res could have been utilized had we held on to it knowing that we won the fight? Right?
Yeah.
So your res is, because it's a 30-second cooldown, keep in mind it has the same principle as an ultimate of if you're winning or losing a fight, don't go for res, right?
Oh, okay. Don't go for it.
Because that wastes the cooldown, and then on top of that, if you're losing a fight, you don't want to res somebody, or sorry, not losing, sorry, if you have lost a fight, you have actively lost the fight, going for a res can sometimes just add to more staggering, giving them more ult charge. Now, if you're just down 1 or 2 people, then getting that res can bring you back into the fight, right? But if you're down 3, 4 people, you getting that res isn't going to do anything but just kill them again. If we've already won the fight, then no, especially maybe if you're on attack here and, for example, you're pushing it right up here and somebody gets picked, getting that res off is fine, right? Because we want them to be here rather than coming back from spawn. But when we have spawn that's an inch from us, and us using that res maybe stops us from being able to have it in the future, that's not a situation where we want to use it.
Let's get you back out there.
Feel like a man possessed.
Nap time. Let me get you patched up. Ich bin da.
I need healing.
Ich kümmere mich dich.
It's high noon.
You should be at peak performance levels.
And
Step right up.
kind of look at our angle again with our cameras that we just, it's not, I'm not gonna don't try to take this out of context or misunderstand me here. I'm not saying that looking at the TP is a bad thing, right? If we see a TP, then it's probably a good idea to look at it. But the fact that we stare at it for 3 seconds straight instead of maybe, looking at it, glancing to the fight, looking at it, glancing to the fight, right? We're just kind of always keeping our crosshair in one single direct line of sight the entire time, to where we're not moving our our camera around, right? Which is something that we need to make sure we're doing. All right, so we're 30 minutes in. Would you like to maybe go over those other replays with the other supports?
Yeah.
3
So,
to 3.
So I'd probably say, I guess as an overall consensus on Mercy gameplay, good basic mechanics, good knowing who your pocket targets are, and you go to the right targets at the right time usually. Focus a little bit more on your front line if you know that they're more in danger. With your reses, look to use them slightly more often. And so the thing with your reses is just whenever you see a dead body, right, or you see somebody died in kill feed, just eyeball it, see can I go for the res, And if not, that's fine. But if we're not even glancing at the res or we're not considering it, then that's a wasted opportunity.
Right. I
Yeah.
do have a question about
Yep.
Mercy. And when you're playing her at Master's rank and above, is Mercy and Lucio a good comp?
Combination.
Yeah.
It's very low healing. When it comes to low healing compositions, really the only comp in the game that pairs with would be maybe a dive, because on dive you don't necessarily take as much damage as other compositions such as brawl or spam or a hybrid comp. So I'd probably say in most scenarios, no, it's probably not going to be the best because of how low the amount of healing is for your team, the amount of burst healing you can output. The same
Right.
thing with a Zenyatta Mercy is it's not going to be great if you have a Ryan Zarya. It's not going to be great if you. I think it might be okay if you have a a spam comp, right? Because when you're in a spam comp, you might not be taking as much damage as well. But it's definitely never going to work if you're on brawl. It might work okay if you're on spam. It might work okay if you're on a dive. But that's those types of compositions. You're really only going to see those at succeed at super high levels of play because they know how to mitigate damage effectively. So once you get into like coordinated team environments or you're getting into top 500 territory, that's where those comps become a little better because you uh people take less damage, quite frankly, right? People
Okay.
when they know how to take less damage through uses of abilities, cover, there's need for less healing. So characters like Zenyatta and Mercy can do a little bit better.
Mm, I see. Cause like I would see when I watch contenders,
Yep.
teams will go Brig and Zenyatta, which to me looks like really low healing
Yep.
output at first glance.
Exactly like I just said, like that's something for very high levels of play that know how to not take damage. And most of the time when you see that composition, I think that comp was actually pretty common like 6 months ago or so. But it was run with a dive. And you run that for the Brig to kind of pocket the Zenyatta and keep the Zenyatta alive, and then they both can kind of heal from a range, right? So those comps aren't gonna be the best, and I'd be surprised if you said that those characters are run with a Ryan Zarya Reaper May type of deal.
I don't remember what the other comps were. I just noticed the support comps.
Yeah. So for, in ranked, usually not.
Oh, all right. All right. Did you get my next codes?
Yes. Sorry, I was talking, so I didn't get that in.
Okay.
Traveling to Volskaya ready for battle.
All right. So we are in KP again. So we're on Lucio again. Yeah, like you were just discussing, we are on the Mercy as well. So, how often do you play? Because I know you. What characters would you say that you main in particular? Do you play Lucio much or?
I play like Mercy and Lucio equally.
Uh,
Yeah, on this account I do play them equally. I don't really play anyone else,
all right.
to be honest.
So taking a look at our comp real quick, we're on really a hybrid type of comp. I'd probably say we're maybe close to. Oh yeah, we're really just all over the place with our comp. So we're gonna be kind of playing split, wait for ball and tracer to distract, and then come in kind of with our spam comp. Lucio doesn't fit into this the greatest because of the fact that we're never really going in super aggressively. Everyone's just kind of doing their own thing. So I guess Lucio can work okay if we're trying to go for a very Reddit playstyle. Um, because that kind of fits in with the chaotic nature of this composition. But if we're trying to just play for our team, we're not going to find as much success with our Lucio as we would like pretty much any other support.
Damage increased.
All right.
Activating the barrier.
Okay. First off, make sure we're not just always holding down left click, right? If we're literally doing this, all this is doing is wasting ammo. So in a second here, you see, okay, first shot up into a wall, second shots into nothing, third shots into our team, right? Fourth shots into a wall. Okay, and then that did a little bit of damage, right? But then by the time we can actually see people, we're reloading. So yes, you want to be shooting quite frequently on Lucio, but not to the extent to where we're always holding down left click, which just isn't gonna be good if we're just, you know, hitting walls with every single shot. Okay, again, right, a lot of wasted shots. Okay, like to see us slightly closer to walls and cover. Again, we're slightly unaware of what's going on around this, so make sure we're not always just looking straight forward. Use your ears, look around. Don't stare straight forwards in a straight line all the time. You'll be able to survive a lot longer and do a lot more things if you know what's happening around you. Yep, good amp heals, right? We saw we had multiple critical targets. Good job. Right. Yeah, we're playing Lucio very spammily. Try to get in their faces slightly more often, right? Kind of wall right around into them. Like I said, we're playing Lucio like we would maybe if we were running a brawl comp where we're sitting inside of our team, but we're not running a brawl. At no point, like probably one of the biggest aspects to Lucio's kit is his speed, and at no point really is our team gonna look to speed in unless we've already have a significant advantage. So Lucio is just not the best fit with our comp unless we're playing him to go around and contest things, right? As Lucio, you can very easily you can see this in the fact that, you know, there are multiple good, you know, Lucio players who have this Reddit playstyle, right? Like I believe there was Twitter beef with over or not necessarily beef, but Samito and you know, Samito and Red Shell, those streamers.
Yeah, I know them.
Yep. So they Samito was like, okay, well, the next big step is for Overwatch to get rid of one tricks, and Red Shell is like, oh well, I have one trick, and like, how are you gonna say that this is a bad thing when I'm, you know, rank 1 and 2 or something like that, right? Like when it comes to Reddit Lucioing, Redditing is a very valid playstyle, you know, that you can see through all of the top rated players being, you know, Reddit Lucios, or not every single one of them, but you know, there's a vast majority of them that are. So look to get in there, look to boot people around, right? Hog goes for hook, we boop them. We can contest supports and DPS if we need to, right? Even Tracer in a backline, right? We can contest a Tracer in our backline just by shooting at her, booping her, meleeing her. Just look to be slightly more aggressive when it comes to looking for opportunities like that.
Right. All right.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how is your pain?
Activating the barrier.
I am loving this.
Okay, what are we looking to use beat for here?
Just to be aggressive.
Yeah, we can use beat to get aggressive, but yeah, we can use it to get aggressive here. We can look to use it maybe after they've just used a couple ults, right? They don't have anything really we need to really save it for, but I probably say the best way to use this would just be for anytime it's needed. Our comp doesn't necessarily need to get super aggressive. Oh, that got cut off by the monkey bubble. That's unfortunate. Yep. Keep in mind, like we've talked about, our comp isn't designed to get super aggressive. So yeah, like yes, it can be used to get aggressive, but it could have also been used for the purpose of, you know, countering the other 3 ults that they have.
Right.
Right. I like to see on walls a little bit more often, right? You can get a lot of value out of just skirting from place to place if you're just riding along these walls. So when we're looking to go on walls, we want to make sure that first off we're near the walls at all, like whenever possible, right? If we're sitting out in the open, right, first off that's not near cover. Second off, that means we can't wall ride very efficiently, right? So whenever possible, instead of standing out in the open, right, along here, we want to be spending that same amount of time, right, over here hugging these walls, right? And then that way we can ride these walls a little bit easier. Now when you wall ride, now I guess like you're masters, so I'm not gonna. This tech stuff might be something that is already like a no duh for you. But how would you say that you go about like wall riding? I'm trying to. Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to word this.
Healing boost.
I'm not that confident in my wall riding abilities.
All right. So then, when you wall ride, do you use your A and D keys? Your left and your right.
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay, so that's the thing I was looking out for. The big thing is you're just looking to use your camera to move around. So you're always pressing W. You're just using your camera to move yourself around, right? When we're trying to get height, we're gonna look up, and that will get us up higher faster. And then when we are looking to go down, we can look down, and then that can help us descend really fast if we're looking
I
to
am loving this.
drop height.
Yeah, I had a question about that.
Yep.
What you just talked about. Is it better to like? Is it faster to just drop down or faster just to wall ride down if you're on the high ground trying to go down below?
Well, they're wall ride down in what sense? Because you can't really wall ride straight down.
All right.
Like if I'm holding onto a wall here, I can't go
Okay.
downwards, right? But I can essentially drop and then catch the wall, right?
All right. That's
So-
what I meant.
Yeah. You're always gonna drop, but you probably want to catch the wall, and that way you can keep up your wall riding momentum, right? So
Alright.
you're not gonna want to fully drop and just hit the floor unless you want to hit the floor, right? Most of the time, you probably just want to stick on that wall, right? And then like even if it's just something as simple as like we're not near our team, just just do a little dip off of that, right? Just a little bit of that, right? While we're walking around, right? That's just gonna make us a lot faster and get from place to place faster. Allow us to do a lot more things such as heal, speed, boop,
Yeah,
shoot at people.
I remember you talking about that during my first session with Lucio back when I was in
Oh, time to
Plat.
accelerate.
Yeah.
This is gonna make you feel
So
better.
I think Mercy gameplay might seem up there a little bit, but I think definitely Lucio mechanics is something that I'm seeing struggling with. Maybe not so much as awareness, but with our shooting, it's very, you just kind of hold it down to where we're just doing this the whole time. With our wall riding is very inconsistent to where we're not doing it very often. Anytime you're trying to go somewhere, you should be looking to use the walls, right? You should never be going somewhere and just be speeding along the ground, really ever. Unless you're trying to like speed somebody back from spawn or something. Anytime you're trying to get from place to place, we're just using our walls so we can go faster. Okay, keep in mind as well, you can go for bunny hops, right? If you have a very high momentum, you can actually hit the ground and keep that momentum up if you're just spam jumping, right? So we can hit the ground. I'm trying to find a good. Let's find a good, I guess, angle for you to see this. So you can see how if we just go down this, you can see how I kept up that momentum with that first jump, right? I think you can actually do that up to like 2, maybe even 3 times. Is do that extra bunny hop, and then that'll allow you to keep up momentum if you just happen to miss a wall, right? Right, or if you just miss a wall, or if you're just trying, there is no wall to hit, right?
Okay.
Yep. I'd just like to see you get in people's faces more often. When you're looking for duels, look for as many boops and melees as possible. If we did go over Lucio in the past, I would imagine maybe we've talked about this, right? You just look to shoot him when you come in, you boop him up in the air or boop him, and then you add in a melee, right?
Right.
Okay. You can probably go ahead and get back into that game. Okay. What map was that? That was Volskaya.
Volskaya.
Is that competitive? Hopefully
Yeah.
this is it. Oh, but there's also another one up top. Snap.
Traveling to Volskaya in ready for battle.
Nope, this is not you.
Traveling to
Alright.
Volskaya
Did
in
you want to go
battle.
over that third character, or are we just going over Lucio here? For the end, because we only have 15 minutes.
Do much as you can. If you can't make it to the third character, it's fine. I'll just probably purchase another one then.
Alright.
So just do much as you can from this one.
Alright. Get forward 20 seconds. Right, so speeding our team in.
New defense point. Objective B.
Barrier in place.
This is gonna make you feel better.
Alright, make sure again we're only shooting if we need to shoot. You're just not on walls very much, right? We're just kind of hopping around the point, holding speed. Yeah, wall riding mechanics seem very, very funky, and if you watch any high-level Lucio players, they're just on the walls all the time. Not literally to the sense where they never leave the walls for any point in time, but they're on walls much more often than you here, which means that we probably want to be looking to do that. I'd probably say that's one of the biggest things we probably want to work on is making sure we're wall riding
Okay.
much more often.
I will
Was
prove myself.
this I guess it was Brig. What do you want to go over, or should I skip to somewhere?
Yeah, she's another hero that I play.
Good
Right.
to know.
Observe the barrier.
Get in there, Bob.
Okay. On Brig, ever since the previous patch that came out, she cannot overheal one, right? So she doesn't do any shields, and that healing essentially goes nowhere, right? So it's the same thing as Mercy. If you're holding down a left click or a heal on somebody who's already full HP, that will be doing absolutely nothing or wasting time. So when we come in here, right, and we toss a pack at Ash who's down, 40 HP, that when Mercy's on top of her, that's a wasted pack, because that means that pretty much, like, I don't know how much healing pack does, but that's about maybe like half or 3/4 getting wasted because it's healing nothing. Okay, we come in here, this pack is needed, right, because Ash is critical, but then we second pack her, right, and now that second pack is going to be doing absolutely nothing because she's going to be full HP, right? So when we're packing people on Brig, we want to make sure that those packs are actually giving them health, not overhealing, because overhealing does literally nothing anymore. It used to give you armor, but now it's just, if they aren't gonna take damage, they're not. That pack just gets wasted.
Yeah, I know. I knew about that.
Okay, don't feel pressured to go to point. You have Bob on point. You have Ball over here. Don't have to walk into that open area if it's not needed. So I think here we get a little too aggressive, right? Look at where. First off, we're going in when we're down a little bit of HP. It's not too much, but we're still down a little bit of HP. Second off, look at where we are in comparison to the majority of our team, right? Just puts us kind of out of position, kind of out in the open, and then that makes us a very easy target for Tracer to just kind of melt us, right? So we don't really need to be on point in this scenario. Now this is a fun. Bob ends up getting Tracer. This is fine now because look, now we have most of our team on point. So this is much better than what we were 2 seconds ago.
Barrier no longer.
All right. Do you want to go over Baptiste at all?
Ready for battle.
No, I don't. You can skip this part and then just go to the once we lose first points, I switch to. Yeah, you can go over, and she's another hero that I play.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's.
I might recommend maybe narrowing down if you're trying to
That
try to
was
play
done
Bap, Ana, Mercy, Lucio, and Brig. That's a very wide hero pool, and typically people will stay within one of two categories. If you've heard of them, that's main support and flex support. Are you familiar with which characters go into which category?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so typically I would recommend picking one of them because that means that now you're taking the time that you're spending on it, may be spreading equally, maybe a little bit less equal, but it's taking the same amount of time. Let's say you have 500 hours, right, across those 5 heroes. If you are putting that into 2 or 3 heroes, that's now, almost 2 times the amount of time that you're spending on those characters, right? So you will be able to learn them much better and get better at the game in general, right? So maybe don't try to spread yourself too thin with trying to learn different characters, and it might be good to try to focus in on one category. Now, if that character is absolutely needed to win the game, or if maybe you have a bad matchup, like the enemy if they take Mercy, you might want something like Baptiste or Ana, right? So maybe it happens to be that type of game, but try your best to keep it within your hero pool.
All right.
Now, of course, that also comes down to, of course, I don't want to force that on top of you. That also comes down to what your goals are when it comes to Overwatch. If you're just playing more so to have fun than to win games or to improve, then go ahead and play whatever characters you want. But if you're looking for like if you're looking for my advice on how to get better, that would be efficiently the faster way to improve.
Never stop fighting for what you
Alright,
believe
got it.
Objective lost. New defense point. Objective B.
Best positioning gonna be top left here. On Ana, you have 3 check boxes you're trying to check off with your positioning. A, can I see my team? From this position, you can pretty much see anybody anywhere on your team as long as they're on this side of the point, right? They push forward, you can come onto this high ground, you see them. They're on point, you can see them. They're on that high ground, you can see them, right? You can see them anywhere here, from here, right? Second checkbox you're looking to check off is, can the enemy team see us? The problem with our current positioning is this allows them to be able to see us and to shoot at us and we'll take spam damage, and they currently have a Widowmaker, right? So we're putting ourselves in line of sight as the Widowmaker and their Ashe, right? Whereas right here, enemy team does not have line of sight on us, right? And as Ana, typically we're not going to be shooting at too much stuff. So snipers being like us being out in the open does not do a whole lot for us. Now, third checkbox is, are we in a position to land sleeps and nades? Now, you can land sleeps and nades from here, but they might be a little bit difficult to land. So being somewhere like up here means that we have this, what you call an off angle, where we can go and take, a 1-2 second detour, right? And come to this high ground and toss a nade anywhere where we want it to from a much closer angle than back there, which makes it much easier to land, right? And then it's very safe. All we have to do is back up and we're good, right? So this probably is one of the better examples of Ana positioning in the game, because this checks off all 3 boxes and keeps very good positioning for Ana.
Okay.
Okay, good burst healing. Good sleep. Good mechanics. We're hitting pretty much every shot here. Hitting all of our abilities. Okay. Probably wouldn't say mechanics besides any on any character so far that we've played besides Lucio have been a problem, right? Your Mercy mechanics pretty good, Ana mechanics very good, right? But Lucio is really the only one that mechanically was an issue.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
there, maybe the only thing we could have done better would have been to actively look for an aggressive nade. On Ana, your biggest kind of carrying potential is when you land those anti-nades, and landing a 6-man anti-nade a lot of the time that can get you more value than a nano boost. So us looking to aggressively get anti-nades can kind of end up carrying, whereas if we're just kind of hard healing, that's not going to have much of an impact, right? It's like Mercy if you never res. If you're just healing, not going to do much, right? So on Ana, we need to look for our nades more often to land aggressively, right?
Right.
2-2.
So by default, nades should be looked to use for the anti purposes. That is going to be around 60-50% of the time. Now, the other 40-50% of the time is just going to be whenever healing is needed, right? You might need healing for yourself if you get dove, if you're low HP and you don't have a healer to get to you, or if you're about to die. You might need the anti-nade to burst heal somebody to keep them alive. But in any other situation, you're actively looking to make it an anti-nade. We want to go through Brig here?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we're swapping around characters quite a bit. Try to, I guess, pick, if you're looking to swap characters, think about what counters their comp, right? And what pairs well with our comp, right? Brig, Mercy, slightly low healing. Maybe, yeah, Brig's okay because we're up against like a half dive, right? They're on Monkey and they're on Sombra, but they're not on a super hard dive, so I don't think that the Brig is necessarily going to be the best pick here. But she also is, I haven't seen too much of her gameplay with her new patch, so she might be better than I think she is.
Yeah, she's still who I play quite often, even though with the recent changes.
Okay, make sure we're trying to get whip shots off quite frequently. We're trying to make sure Inspire's staying up.
I know sometimes like I have a problem hitting targets with my whip shots. Like I have low accuracy with that.
Yeah, and that's something maybe you can make sure you're focusing on when you play Brig, right? There's always going to be things that we focus on when we play characters. So when you're playing Lucio, focus on your wall riding. When we're playing Brig, maybe we could focus more on our whip shots so that we're landing those more often. We can practice it in training range, practice it against, in free-for-alls. And then while we're in game, make sure we're really concentrating on landing those, as that's going to allow us to keep our Inspire activated all the time, right? But when we're never hitting those, Inspire's going to be up pretty infrequently.
My shield's up. Enemy seen.
Okay, look to aggressively bash, right? Yep, if they're standing on the open like that, just go after him.
Yep.
Objective A captured.
Damage
New
now we're in
defense
business.
point.
That should be better. Shield's taking damage.
Tactical visor activated.
Taking heavy fire.
60 seconds remaining.
Also, like at this point, we took first point, and then now we're in the second point. Am
Oh.
I getting rally too slow compared to other Masters player?
The problem is that we're not keeping Inspire up because of the fact that Inspire's going up very infrequently. And we're not even really getting much damage in, means that basically because Brig isn't fantastic, again in this comp setup, that means that Inspire is just gonna be coming your ult is gonna be coming naturally slow because of the fact that we can't swing on anything, because of the fact that we can't whip shot anything because we're so far away from the enemy team. So pretty much all of this ult charge has come exclusively from just us hitting packs. So definitely it would be going up a lot faster if we're just hitting whip shots more often, or if we're swinging on things more often, because then we'll be able to get our Inspire going, and our Inspire will heal a lot more than just our packs.
Alright, and then I had another question about Brig. I know that if you hit a Wrecking Ball's minefield with it, you'll proc Inspire. Are there any other non-player objects that you can hit that are also proc Inspire besides the ball mine?
That's honestly not a question that I'm able to answer. I would think
Okay.
not, but at the same time, I also wasn't I didn't fully remember that was even part of the game that you could get ball mines. So I don't know. Possibly that'd be a question to look up rather than ask me here, because I
Okay.
just don't know.
Okay. Didn't hurt to ask.
Yep. Oh my goodness. Yep. Try to maybe bash to the side, right? Yes, we don't have bash to stop him, but what we can do is cut off the line of sight, right? Remember, you can use bash as mobility. So we can use bash to maybe boost this way, right? And then that way we cut off line of sight from him.
Okay.
Right. So here we just kind of ride it out the whole way. We also don't hold shield at him either, right? Holding shield at him could also give us time to move to the side, since that can just block the boops from happening. Okay, so we got point.
Round 3.
My goodness, one of those games.
Ready for battle.
Yeah, I feel like I'm really bad at defense, but kind of good on attack. But defense is where I struggle with the most.
Get behind me. Shield holding.
Okay. Just want to make sure that we're looking for that whip shot, right? Just proc Inspire gets us more ult charge. Try not to burn all our packs before the fight even starts here. That means that we won't have packs when the fight does start.
Okay.
Right, that in between fight, like unless somebody's is in danger of dying, right, and they're about to die, Mercy can just heal them up, and we can rely on that, right? Yep. A little too aggressive, right? Keep in mind what our comp is. We are not running anything that is aggressive. We're not on Brawl. keep in mind you're not a main tank, so we can't play like a main tank. We can't get in their front line. We can send whip shots from a distance. We can 1v1 people, right? If we can run at people if it's just a 1v1 scenario like we did here with the Brig, I think, right? We just kind of ran at Brig. We get the kill. Oh, no, we didn't. That's my bad. I thought Brig was maybe you killed Brig already there. But yeah, like we can do it if it's a 1v1 scenario, right? Because we have a lot of health, but we can't run at 6 people because we just get blown up like in that scenario.
Alright.
Right? When you're playing these different characters, always remind yourself kind of what your role is, what you're looking to work on, what your problems are. Alright, so I'm gonna have to end this here. I'm gonna step